Welcome to the Gate 7 International Podcast, your official English source for all things Olympiacos FC and Greek football.
The first day of training is when I realized, this is why they win the league every year.
When I spoke with Kevin, if I gonna sign or no for Olympiacos, he said, "You are crazy, good deal, like my friend."
Να πετύχω, ήθελα να μείνω στην ιστορία του Ολυμπιακού.
I can't speak, sure.
Yeah.
Έλα μαλάκα!
Σ' αγαπώ πάρα πολύ, Πειραιάς. Είμαι Γάβρος πάντα, όλοι μαζί.
What is up, everyone? Another edition of Gate 7 International. First win for Olympiakos in over a month in quite dramatic fashion. But a win is a win, and we're going to take it. It is a gross and rainy day today. It was a little overcast, but the rain finally came here in Baltimore. Costa, how's the weather holding up over there, my friend?
It's fine. It is a bit chilly, which I like. I am the least Greek person you have ever met. I prefer the cold over the heat. So I am a very, very happy person today.
Not me. That's my brother. He loves cold weather. I can't stand it. Winter comes, I want it to leave. No snow, that's fine by me. Anyway, boys and girls, if you haven't done so already, join the red and white mission at Gate 7 International. Help us make this the largest community, not just for Olympiakos, but for all Greek sports and international sports. Olympiakos is a European team. This is a team that is meant to be in European competition, and we need to gather the diaspora together to make it the fan base that Olympiakos deserves. Now, we have some announcements, boys and girls. You guys saw earlier on social media, we have a mystery guest. Some of you guessed correctly who that mystery guest was based on the picture. I think that picture probably made it too easy. Gonna have to talk to Costa about that one. Made it very easy. Luciano de Souza is going to be coming on the show tomorrow. That is going to be at 23:30 Greek time, if I'm not mistaken. It's 20 here. I can double check on that. It will be a live interview. And for our non-Greek listeners, that interview will be in Greek. We will, like we did for the Nikopolidis interview, be translating and getting subtitles out later. But we will definitely be doing subtitles and translation for that. But it will be a Greek interview. It will be an interview done in Greek. So for all of our listeners that do understand Greek and speak Greek, we hope you enjoy that. We're really excited to be talking to Luciano. He did some wonderful things for Olympiakos in his time here. Some of you remember. Some people in the comments talked about some of the set pieces from him they remembered. A wonderful player, and he's also a player that has played for quite a few teams in the Greek league, has a lot of insight into Greece, and he currently manages the youth over at Panetolikos. So a lot of great insight that we're hoping to get from him. Costa, I hope you're excited for that one as well.
I'm very excited. Luciano de Souza is one of my all-time favorite Olympiacos players. Amazing performances. I remember the trio of Brazilians that was created at Olympiacos between Zé, Elias, Giovanni, and Luciano. Very close, those three. And who can ever forget that incredible goal against Panathinaikos? Definitely, in my opinion, he's a legend. Some very important questions I would like to ask him, but unfortunately, I can't make the show tomorrow. I can't wait. Can't wait to listen to it.
Absolutely. And guys, just confirming, it is 22:30 Greek time that interview will be taking place. So that's 22:30 Greek, 21:30 Central Time, and that will be 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for all of our East Coast listeners. For those of you that don't know your time zone, or that know what time zone you're in but don't know what time that is for you, DM us and we'll let you know when that is. And then on Tuesday, we do have a basketball special. Guys, it has been a crazy series of events for Olympiakos into Game 5 with Monaco. The basketball team Monaco's a tough cookie. I don't know anything about basketball. Costa and Lambro are going to get into that with Manolo and the guys over at Red Point Guard. So check into that because the basketball team is doing really great things that we wish our football team was doing. And I've even watched a few games myself. I've watched more basketball this year than I have in my whole life. And that's all on Olympiakos for doing that. So check that out, guys. We have a lot of fun stuff coming up this week, especially tomorrow and Tuesday. You got 3 days of Gate 7 International, baby. I know you guys love it. And some of you want more, but we'll try and give you as much as we can. Now, post-match with Giannina, it was a tough look. We need to say first and foremost, I know there's already some people that are negative. Some Dionysius Yurgas here. I didn't even bother watching today. A lot of negativity, but first and foremost, we do have to say that Giannina is a tough cookie. They've been a tough cookie for all teams, not just Olympiacos. That being said, very disappointing our first round against them in the playoffs when we played them at Zosimades, and we didn't play very well, ended in a draw. This game, the setup of the team was a little bit more positive. We actually saw Carvalho playing as a number 10 instead of on the wing. We had Masuras and Gary Rodriguez and a double pivot of Bouchalakis and Jan and Villa. Now, the second that lineup was put out and everyone saw the center mid pairing of Bouchalakis, Jan and Villa, all the jokes of the slow midfield were popping out all over the place, but it was what it was. And then, of course, we had a little bit of a surprise in the defense. Not so much in the right back because Kenny Lala, as it was reported, has been told he has no place on the team. So Marios Vrusai got the start. And our center back pairing, resulting from some disciplinary things that we'll get into later with Pape Abou Cissé, was replaced by Usainu Ba, and he partnered Socrates. Then, of course, you had the usual suspect, Oleg, on the left. When the game started, for me, even though it was pretty open, I mean, we had some really good opportunities early. We got the goal, of course, from Youssef El Arabi in the 7th minute. The first 15 minutes in terms of the possession was quite even. Then after that first 15 minutes, it started to skew much more heavily in our favor. We were dominating possession. We were getting the majority of chances, but kudos to Giannina. They were remarkably efficient with the few opportunities they had. They only had 6 opportunities, guys. They only got manufactured 6 opportunities in terms of shots, and every single one of them made it on target. They got 2 goals out of it. That's pretty remarkable finishing on them versus us over 20 opportunities. And we 23. Could only put 23 in total. That's correct. Yes. And 3 goals still.
Excuse me.
Well, it was, yeah. Actually, yes, you're right. That's right. It was 24 in the end. And we could only really manufacture really solid chances out of a few of them. I'm going to take the good with the bad in that respect, especially in the first half, because at least we were manufacturing passes. I know a lot of people were upset in general, but there were some positives to take away from this game, because in other games we could barely get the ball in front of net, and this game we actually made some opportunities. We couldn't finish a lot of those opportunities, but a lot of them were there. The right side of our field today, I thought, played very well. Between Vrusai and Gary Rodriguez, I thought that they did quite well. Great movement. Gary Rodriguez in particular, I'm not sure why I didn't see him get credit for the assist on the first goal for Youssef El Arabi, but I thought that he was the last person to touch the ball for Youssef El Arabi when he got the header inside. I could be wrong on that, but I have to double check that on the replay. But then, of course, he gets himself a goal after a very nice through ball from Yorgos Masuras in the first half. And then Costa, as you had brought up before, some of the weaker mentality of the team kind of caught up with us. And we ended up leaking a goal right at the end. And that goal resulted from a comedy of errors. It starts with in the midfield. The Giannina player has the ball in the midfield towards our right side. And one of our midfielders steps up, and Marios Vrusai makes a huge mistake, leaving his man alone on the wing on the end line by himself, and comes to take the ball in a double team from him. Now, of course, double team is unsuccessful. Ball gets played down the wing. Socrates Papastathopoulos then has to make a tough decision. He has to decide whether to stay with his man Perea, or go for the ball. Now, I've seen a lot of people commenting on this on social media with blaming Socrates. But I'm going to tell you guys, in that situation, in every situation I have ever had, where you have a fast break on a counter or a fast break against you like that, and your center backs are now being split apart because your wing back got caught forward or messed up, whatever. Every situation I have been in, or every situation I have seen, both when I was playing on the Olympic development program, regionals, didn't matter. Socrates made the right decision. The judgment call he made to go for the ball was correct because Ousseynou Ba is supposed to cover on the Perea for him. Now, he didn't do it. Perea gets the ball and takes a lovely shot, we have to say, upper 90 corner. I mean, perfect. No way was Vaclik getting to that. But that goal, primarily the fault of that was Marius Vrusai. He made the first bad decision, which opened things up down that left wing and then led to the opportunity at large. I don't blame Socrates for that. Socrates made the judgment call that most coaches and defense coaches will tell you to make in that situation. Ousseynou Ba is supposed to be covering him for that. And then once they get that goal, I then start to worry because 2-0 going into halftime, crap. Even if we had gotten the third goal where Youssef El Arabi was actually offsides from a gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous little piece of ingenuity from Carvalho, I mean, we would have been way ahead. And I think the players thought that too. That laxness then led us to bleed a couple of other goals. That's my take on the whole thing. Costa, I don't know how you see that.
No, I mean, I was thinking the other day how the golden year of Pedro Martiins, the 2019-2020 season, you would see Olympiacos, how the team plays, and you would just put them against anyone. You would say, you know what, I'm going to put them against anyone, and I'm giving them a very good chance of getting a result. You would see them against Bayern, and they would lose both legs, but they would take them to the limit. They eliminated Arsenal. I honestly believe if coronavirus never happened, Wolves would have been eliminated. Or if the second game had happened a lot earlier and then they went to the final 8, then there could have been a surprise there in the final 8 where it was all, one-legged games. Whereas now you look at what Pedro Martiins has and you just don't trust him to get a result against anyone. You talked about how Giannina are a tough cookie. Well, they're the easiest team of the playoffs, You shouldn't be struggling like that against them. And Olympiacos almost did a Panathinaikos with them in the sense that they failed to beat them once in the playoffs. AEK are currently drawn 1-1 with PAOK at Tuba. There's 10 more minutes to go. Plenty of time for PAOK to score or get a penalty. So if PAOK don't win, then that's plus 13 for Olympiacos. But still, it means nothing. Those numbers mean nothing because you cannot trust Olympiacos to do anything until the end of the season. You look at everyone else, and I can see every last team getting a result against Olympiacos. Giannina are done for the playoffs, but everyone else can get something out of this Olympiacos side. There's a lot of good players in this team, but there seems like there's no unity in the sense that no chemistry. That's a better word. I feel like all the players are playing as if they understand they can't play with each other, but they have to. And I don't know. It kind of feels to me like the players want the season to end. They're just counting backwards like we did in the army when, we were in our last month. And they're just letting good old time do its thing and just do their best. There's just nothing there. No beginning, no middle, no ending. I've said that so many times. There's absolutely no sense that Pedro Martiins is leaving the team. And I feel like it would have been the same if Olympiacos didn't beat Giannina tonight. So I am very worried. I'm probably jumping the gun here tonight, but I'm very worried about the future. And that's why I'm not going to go into detail because I feel like you have a lot to say about the future as well.
Well, I'm not going to say I told you so, but I did. I told Lambro and Costa, the same thing. I told him, I don't think it matters if he loses the cup or not. He's still here. And lo and behold, we lose the cup in terrible fashion, and he's still here. shit, we almost just dropped points to Giannina if not for Rony Lopes magic in the dying minutes, dying seconds of the game.
If I may, I'm sorry that I'm interrupting you with this, but I had been thinking that you keep Pedro Martiins until the end of the season. But then I look at Burnley, who let go of Sean Dyche, who had been on the helm for years and years, and he built the entire team. And they sacked him because Burnley looked like they were heading for relegation. And when they sacked him, we all thought that's it for Burnley. They're going. They're going with Watford and they're going with Norwich. But now the interim manager, Mike Jackson, his name is actually Michael Jackson. He's undefeated. 4 games, 3 wins, 1 draw, not a single loss. He could actually do it. He's steadying the ship like a champ. He beat Southampton. He beat Wolves. He beat Watford. He only drew with West Ham. And West Ham are also looking for victories. So I was thinking that, you know what? If Pedro Martins hadn't beaten Pazian, I would have been very much in favor of a Mike Jackson type of thing. Just bring someone in to steady the ship and just lead them to the league. That's it. Just win the league. That's all you got to do. Because with Pedro Martins, if PAOK screw up again tonight, I could see them winning. But plus 11 is not good because if PAOK win twice, that takes it to plus 5. And like I said, I can see everyone getting something out of Olympiacos with Pedro Martins at the helm. It seems so fragile under Martins. Whereas with someone else who can do 1 or 2 or 3 things from those, get 1 or 2, 3 things out of those players, like Mike Jackson did at Burnley, at least you win the league and you start thinking about preseason.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And guys, we're gonna have a little discussion about Rony too later once we get through some of the post-match analysis. But I did want to touch on there's a lot of comments coming in, some that we missed, especially when the episode just started. So I want to get through a couple. First, I want to thank the guy Smios. Γεια σας μάγκες, μόνο Olympiakos. Ας πάρουμε το πρωτάθλημα και το βρίσκουμε όλα τα άλλα. Cheers from Swiss Club. Smios, thank you for checking in, buddy. Lambro loves hanging out with the boys from Swiss Club. There's a couple of other ones. So from Aguilos Guts, Aguilo, thank you actually for reminding me because I forgot to talk about this. Solis scored a brace today, and that's the best I'll keep from today's matches from both Olympiacos teams, 3-2 in both matches. What a coincidence. I'm going to touch on Solis because that's going to go into our discussion about Rony Lopes later, so hold on to that thought. There were also some questions here. Ahora Mazda, I heard Lala was injured. He was actually injured. That is true. But you probably saw it on our social as well, and it's been reported in Greek news. Kenny Lala was told that he's not in the plans for next year. And that spurred this discussion on that now we need 2 fullbacks. We need 2 right backs.
Or maybe a really good one and Kusai as number 2. Exactly.
So this is why we discuss this. I also want to give some kudos right here to Kevin Milaras. Guys, have you seen what Martin's interviews lately? Man has lost his mind. My friend, I don't know how you have the capacity to sit and watch them. I know Lambro does. I don't. This season especially, I have not been a huge fan of some of the responses because I felt like for the first 3 seasons, when stuff went wrong, he internalized that and did a better job of saying, no, we did this wrong. I expected better. We did this. To this season, I've seen a lot of him blaming referees, the pitch here and there. A lot of stuff I always get upset with other teams' coaches. I see that as a little bit small-minded and weak mentality. And I don't like seeing that.
He's actually taken responsibility for the last 2 hiccups against Panathinaikos and
that's true. I'm talking about season long though. If we look at like early, like in the first half of the season when we started playing like crap, and it was like a routine, it was a pattern of crap, and we were getting those excuses. That's what I'm talking about. But no, he actually did come out the last couple games, and that was on him, and I did respect that. But yes, in Dionisi. Kevin, yes, thank you for checking that in. And then we have one other from Dionysius Yurgas. Do you guys know about the Cisse situation? I think he's referring to the disciplinary situation. And yes, so basically, and I know you guys talked about it on the last episode. or at least Costa had talked about it, you could see Martins screaming at Cisse on the field. So something there, also something in the locker room. There were a couple things, one that we didn't, but on the field, we had discussed that you could see Martins really gesturing and seemed like he was yelling over at Cisse for something. There just seems to be disciplinary issues all over the place with Olympiacos. There's also a very interesting thing here put by Kevin. Guys, Madi uploaded a ridiculous post on Instagram, and after 20 minutes of swearing, he deleted it. I actually got a DM from somebody about that too. I didn't see it, but a lot of unfortunate things and things that speak to what's been going on, because we never saw any of this for 3 years. And it just kind of tells me that there's players that are upset, whether it's at Martins, at their situation, their career, whatever. Players are upset. It's showing on the field, on their play, and it's now leaking into their personal lives too. It's just a really bad situation, and it's very toxic. Costa, what do you make about that?
No, I mean, we've touched on this many, many times. There are a lot of talented young players who joined Olympiacos and stayed way too long, mainly due to the coronavirus pandemic, like Madi Camara, Pape Abou-Cissé, Hussein Ouba. Those are the players that come to mind initially, and they won out, in my opinion. Some of them more than others. I think we all know that Madi Camara wants to leave Olympiacos. He wanted to leave earlier. It didn't happen. So I feel that comes across, and that shows on the pitch, because now I feel like they've done everything they could with Olympiacos. They've gone as far as they could with Europe. They feel they've won everything there is in Greece with Olympiacos. They just want to go. I'm not too sure where Pedro Martiins' head is, but he did sign a new contract. And we touched on this. Like, we don't know how good Pedro Martiins is with man management. We mentioned before the match against PAOK how important it was for Pedro Martiins to mention all the crap Lucescu was talking about Olympiacos. Like, you start with that. That's literally what you start with before this derby. Hey, you, read what he said about you. Read how he called you a cheat. Read how he says you don't deserve it. Who wants to go out there and shove it up his ass? Like, and it's because of that I don't expect to see any reaction in Tuba against PAOK in the next game. I don't expect them to go out and say, listen, we're going to shove it up their asses. We're going to show them who's boss. We're going to show them that the whole thing was a fluke. Nah. I think it's just going to be pretty much the same thing, really. Olympiacos could even lose to PAOK for the first time this season. But yeah, there's a very serious problem with the squad. I have heard rumors that there's going to be another big significant clear out. The thing is, the squad is just so big, and I'm not too sure what the role next season is going to be for players like Fatiga, Dabo, Keita. I'm not too sure what's going to happen with the loanees, because Pepe is doing such a fantastic job, but Adzelovic is doing a fantastic job. There's also a 1,000-pound elephant in the squad called Ruben Semedo, which we have no idea how the hell that situation is going to be handled. There's players Olympiacos want to sell, like Kenny Lalano, Henry Onyekura. I don't know how what's going to happen there. It's going to be a very busy and hot summer for Olympiacos in that department. But surely this squad is going to go for a major change one way or another.
You're absolutely right, Costa. Now, I want to bring it back, because we did go off on a little tangent there. I want to bring it back to the post-match discussion. Before we went off on that, we were kind of talking about what happened in the first half. Despite us dominating possession, as we expect Olympiacos should be doing, we go into the half 2-1. A little bit scary. We open up the second half. Things start to get a little bit dicey. And unfortunately, on another bit of a break and a cross, Oleg collides with Socrates Papastathopoulos' mark on the cross, and Oleg then leaves his man wide open after colliding with him. And that individual, I believe it's Schenker. I might be getting the name incorrectly, but he ends up getting a header off the court. Schneider. He ends up getting the header pretty much free and open, unmarked, because of Oleg falling in the collision, and scores the goal, making it 2-2. Now, before the second goal from Giannina, Olympiacos had only made at that point 2 changes. The first change was pulling off Andreas Bouchalakis, who had just gotten a yellow card, and replacing him with Mari Camara. Then right before the goal, or a few minutes before Giannina's goal, there is a big change that occurs that was really surprising to all of us. First of all, we were surprised to see him in the team sheet. But Yorgos Masouras, who besides having the assist for Gary Rodriguez's goal in the first half, didn't really do much for me today. I did not think he did well. I did not see him opening up, making a lot of those runs. I was disappointed with him today. He gets subbed off for Rony Lopes. And before we go on about Rony Lopes saving not just Olympiakos' ass, but saving Martiins' ass, there's a big question about that substitution. And not just the substitution, but the inclusion of his name on the team sheet. If he is not a part of this team, right? He's alone, and we've already heard before that he doesn't have, Martiins wanted to focus on players that were staying, not loan players that we were never going to buy out. Okay, forget the context that makes that statement a little bit absurd, but let's say that is the case, okay? Why are you going to play him today and then not play guys against Giannina of all teams that are hungry to play? Young guys like Vasilis Solis, maybe even Pinakas. You're gonna take time away from some of these other guys, and you're gonna play guys like Rony Lopes. Now, for the record, and we're gonna get into this in a second, I still believe Rony Lopes was I think that was a mistake. I think Rony Lopes' exclusion from the team, especially when he was just hitting stride, and after Hernani Gomez, Olympiacos' nutritionist, put all the time in to get him to shed that weight and to get him back into like football shape, we then exclude him. For me, I think Rony Lopes has been mistreated. And in now for Eleftherios Machinis. Sorry, guys, for the interruption. Balk Ike 1-1 at the end. Balk finds another way to drop points. Good for us. Now we've all but secured the title at this point. It's still not a done deal.
It's 13 points, and I think that if Olympiacos win the next one, they'll probably seal it. That's going to be 16 points.
Exactly.
So that should, and there's 5 more games Balk have.
Exactly.
So that's it.
If they drop points in one more and we win or something, it should be it. But anyway, we'll get into that later. But but do you understand the point that I'm making here, Costa? And again, I believe that Rony has been mistreated this season in respect to what has happened. And then maybe not even just mistreated, but the decision was just it's a waste of resources. We put the time in to get him fit, match fit, football fit. He starts playing really well for us. You guys saw the stats that we put up before about the expected goal contribution, the goal contributions per 90 minutes. Rony Lopes is one of our top producers still. And we just ostracize him from the team. And even if that were the right decision, let's just say that it was the right decision, okay? Why are we then playing him against the weakest team in the playoffs and not promoting somebody else, somebody that actually at least wants to be here? This decision making doesn't make sense to me, and I think that this is a mistake from Pedro Martiins. Now, again, I'm going to preface this by saying I'm super thankful for Rony Lopes for saving our ass and scoring that goal. But to me, it just speaks to maybe not to the lack of ideology, but to Martiins' mindset. You've written this guy off. You said he's not a part of you're not playing him because he's not a part of the team. We're not accepting the loan. But then you go ahead and play him in this game instead of playing guys that have a future with Olympiacos, that we want to see more. What do you make of this?
Well, a lot of managers have an ego. A lot of managers. I'm not saying Pedro Martiins has, because I'm not sure if he has, but there's a lot of managers who have an ego. Managers who insist on their ideas, insist on their mentality, insist on their philosophy. And They insist up to a point where they refuse to make a change. Even doesn't matter how obvious that change is, how much they even agree that this change is needed. They won't do it because they want to come. They want to rise to the top themselves. They want to come out and say, "I told you so" to everyone. Some of them don't make the necessary change because they don't want to hear the fans, the media, other players, whoever telling them, "I told you so. See, I told you so. All you had to do was just put this player over there and remove that guy." And they insist on their own little philosophy. I think Pedro Martiins has his own philosophy, but I'm still struggling to figure it out. One of the things I've noticed about this team is that it has no identity in the way it plays. I still don't understand if this season was all about 3-4-3, 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3. There were so many players in this team, and we would see quite a few of them starting sometimes. Others would be on the bench. I think the only player we saw the most in the starting lineup was Tomas Vatslik. Always the best bet of who's going to be on the starting lineup was Tomas Vatslik. This season has been it's been the kind of season that you don't want to think of, but you have to think about it because Olympiacos are starting the next season so early, and there's no way the next season is going to be as this one. The next season is either going to be better or it's going to be so much worse. It's one of those two. There's no way Olympiacos can play such horrible football next season and make it to the Europa League playoffs and win the title with 13 points ahead of second place. Either they're going to improve and they're going to be better, or they're going to remain the same or become even worse, and the season is going to be so much more horrific.
I do not even want to. I don't want to imagine that. I don't know. Imagine how.
No,
I
but
mean,
it
I
could.
guess
It's
it
so
could
easy
get
to
worse. You're always right. Well, sometimes people say it can't get any worse, but it can. There is worse.
This
Beznikazi.
season-
There's Beznikazi worse.
This season stinks of Maccabi Tel Aviv. It stinks of
Oh.
Hapoel Beersheva. It stinks of Olympiacos drawing some bullshit team from a farmers league and being eliminated. This season stinks of Europa Conference League blunder, not even making it there. And Beznikazi made it to the Champions League. That was the worst team Olympiacos have had since the Petrina Chronia, Stone years, however you call it in English, the dark days.
Yes.
And they still made the Champions League under Beznikazi. This thing
that's
stinks.
true.
This is like Olympiacos need to make changes immediately. Immediately. This is not funny. Immediately.
You're right. And then there's also another player that never even saw the field. And I was surprised because I thought for sure that when Carvalho eventually did come off and that player would then come on, and that is in a comment from our good friend Lakis Gavalas, Rony Lopes needs to have the whole team built around him to succeed. He belongs to another decade with Fortounis. And before I talk on Fortounis, I understand Lakis Gavalas' point of view here, because the traditional 10, the way that it used to be played, it's been phased out, and players that would have occupied that mold are not. They have to be a little bit more diverse now. They have to be able to play a little bit wider. Or deeper. So I understand what he's saying. I disagree with that in some ways, but I understand what he's saying. But Kostas Fortounis did not get onto the field today. And I thought for sure if there was anybody you were going to bring on the field today to make a little creativity, then he should have been on there, especially if you're taking off a guy like Carvalho. Now, you could say that, listen, we were manufacturing opportunities. We just needed somebody to put it away. That's why he left Youssef El Arabi on and kept on Tiquinho. But for me, at that point, I would have taken Youssef El Arabi off. At that point, he had already been offsides enough, ruined enough things. He did a lot for us. I'm not saying that he had a bad game, but I would have just taken him off for Tiquinho, a like-for-like sub in that respect, and put on Kostas Fortounis for Carvalho, just to have the fresh legs. But look, in the end, we got the win. It was what it was. A lot of people still weren't happy. I saw some positives, more positives at least compared to the shit that we've seen in the last few weeks, and we got the win. But for me, a win's a win, and I did see some improvements here, but there's still a long, long road ahead. A lot of changes that need to be made to really get this team to where we want. And Costa, something I wanted to ask you was, how does this win change the landscape, in your opinion, with Pedro Martiins? Because the talk was, look, he's on thin ice. We even heard talk about how Marinaki was displeased and made his way into the locker room and discussed his displeasure in the locker room. I don't believe we got that confirmed. We just saw that popping up all over the place. What does anything change for you with this win, either positive or negative, or does it stay the same with his situation?
Have we seen that kind of example throughout the season of Olympiacos breaking a duck, breaking a bad run, finally winning, and then going on and having a nice little run or showing or improving on the pitch or anything like that? No, I'm not. No, personally, I feel like that was just a win. I do not expect. I told you before, and I'm going to say this again. I look at every team in the playoffs, and I can see every single one of them getting something from Olympiacos. I don't think Olympiacos have quality in this team, but there's no chemistry, there's no identity, there's no mentality. There seems like there's also there's no mood, there's no motive from a lot of the players that I feel like they just won out or they just don't get what kind of a club Olympiacos are. I'm not confident that all of a sudden Olympiacos are going to go to Dubai and play like it was 2020. I expect the same thing, really. I expect PAOK to be very motivated. I expect PAOK to want to win this because they always show a lot of passion against Olympiacos. The stands are going to be very passionate. The fans are going to be very passionate. Lucescu's going to be a son of a bitch. So, yeah, I'm not expecting much, to be honest. Pretty much the same. What do you think?
So, with regards to, I think you're right in many respects. The things that I took from this game that were at least different than what we've seen before, even against Giannina in our previous meetings, were today I saw a lot more of what I wanted to see in terms of build up, a lot more one touch. I saw a lot higher match tempo, we'll say. And when the data comes out, I am almost 100% sure it will reflect that. These are small things, very small things, but it's the small things when you do them all together that end up leading to a better product. And I saw those today, and that made me feel better about the performance because it wasn't like we were just passing laterally backwards. I saw some good one touch, some effort, and some intent to get forward. A lot of intentful, progressive passes, and that's what I like to see today. So we haven't seen that a lot. Especially in the playoffs. So my hope is that momentum will be taken into PAOK because I don't find it acceptable that even in our stadium, even against somebody like PAOK, who is probably the one that is the chief contender for the title against us in just in general, not this season because they're so far back. But I don't ever want to see a team. There's no excuse for a team like them dominating us in our castle ever. And that's not something I ever want to see again. I want us to be able to move the ball around, dominate possession, dominate the field of play. Because that's Olympiacos. That should be our identity in Greece. And I'm hoping that this is a step towards that. I'm hoping that this gets us to that point. In terms of the situation for Pedro Martiins as a coach, I don't think this win changes any of that. I still think I don't think he's going anywhere. I never thought he was going anywhere, even after the PAOK. But I do think that he will there for the first time in his career here that there is, somebody's watching basically, and he's on thin ice. And the bad performances stay, the thinner that ice gets for the summer. And then the summer will be one of those things, kind of like what Lambro had said, if he screws up things over the summer, there's no more goodwill. It's gone. And I think that if those bad performances continue, then that is more and more likely to happen if something bad happens over the summer.
Well, he is on borrowed time, really. If he stays at Olympiacos, which he will, almost definitely will, he is on borrowed time with Europe. If he doesn't make it to the Champions League, okay. If he doesn't make it to the Europa League, that's serious. There's going to be discussions. If he doesn't make it to the Conference League, he's out. He's out. He's gone. 100%. If he doesn't make it to the Europa League, I'll be nice and I'll give him only 50% of staying. If he manages to get to the conference and he starts showing something on the pitch slowly, like something's building, and people start talking like we're going to win the conference, whatever, which should be the mentality for Olympiacos are in the conference, then maybe. But he's on borrowed time, really. I mean, he could be gone by the summer if it all goes tits up with Europe. And it does stink like it will. It really stinks like there's going to be another Maccabi Tel Aviv, another Hapoel Beersheva. But to me, it also sounds like Olympiacos are just kicking the can down the road. So much better. Just get a new manager, start preseason with them, get their own players in, build the team how they like instead of bringing them in during the league, during Europe, if there's any Europe. And, because then it's just it all could go tits up. And there could be like another 3 managers coming in, just like in 2018.
Well, look, I don't think Olympiacos is going to have much of a choice. They're going to have to make changes. Look, we have to say, like, this was winning the title this season is like getting away with murder with how shit we've been. Like the most money we've ever spent on a roster to play as shit as we have, but still, I still could see us winning the league by double digits. I still could see that happening by season's end. Even if it's like 7, let's say it's like 6, 7, 8 points, right? That's still a possibility, considering like Balk really screwed the pooch. Balk really screwed the pooch. Lucescu's early mindset early on screwed the pooch, because if Balk started the season like they're ending it now, how they've come into form towards the end of the season, I feel like they'd be probably 8 or 9 points ahead of us at this point. We've dropped so many games.
No, but they can still keep dropping points though themselves.
We still, that's true. They still can, and so can we. But I feel like if they had started the season earlier, if Lucescu had gotten out of his own way earlier this season with regards to some of his decisions, especially on some of the really old veteran players, then we would be in some serious trouble, and this would be a really different conversation. But Ike screwed the pooch, especially on their defensive picks. Balk. Well, I'm talking about all of the top teams.
You're taking all of them, yeah.
Balk got a very slow start. Ike just pretty much screwed the pooch, even though I thought they made a couple of decent moves, but they screwed the pooch defensively. Panathinaikos came into a transformation now towards the end of the second half of the season. We're not going to get away with this next season.
Nope. No chance.
Ike just brought in a new coach that has a decent CV, has to be said. Lucescu looks like he's sticking around. He's going to build the team up. Balk's already made some very interesting moves. I don't know if you guys know about that player they just brought in, the young 18-year-old, Quagliata. Go take a look at him. Ike's not sitting back. They're not sitting back. Panathinaikos has turned into a pretty good team coming into the second half of the season. None of our competition is sitting on. They want to win.
Just a very quick point about young players in Greece. When a young player comes in Greece, like, yes, there might be a little fanfare from the media and the fans, but it's very rare that we see young players as young as 18 getting such great chances. I mean, players like Zolis, Tsimikas, Vrusai, they're an exception to the rule, really. You don't really see that often. You only see a Ninis and a Zolis and a Fetfadzidis very rarely.
Yeah. Well, my whole point of this whole thing is we got lucky in the fact that even though we were shit, the rest of the league was just, we might have been garbage, but whatever they were was something way more foul and grotesque. And that's why we got away with it. Not because we were a good team.
But Olympiacos were also consistent until the final game with Aris. They were consistent.
We were. Look, we were
that's why
most of our opportunities.
That's why I disagreed with you about Balk being above Olympiacos. There's no way. It wouldn't have been 13 points. It would have been, I don't know, maybe 5 points if Balk played well. But Olympiacos were very consistent. They look like shit. And what we're seeing right now in Greece, we saw it in Europe. Mm-hmm. But in Greece, they were effective. They had that Greece national team from Euro 2004 thing where it's like, yeah, we don't play great football, but hey, we bring the results. But now they've lost the effectiveness as well. And I feel that comes down to players just being tired, not just physically, but mentally. They just want the season to be over with. They just want off. They just want out. They're done.
I believe it. I believe that 100%. Look, I'm just making the point that the way the other teams are looking next season, if we have another season like this, there's no title. I don't care how much quality we have, because we do. I mean, Lakis Gavalas actually makes the point right here. The difference in individual quality is huge. Only if we underperform severely, they will have a chance. Like, he's not wrong. And that's the only reason we've gotten to this point. It's because we have players that have, we have the biggest budget in the league.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that's only going to get bigger, especially with that new deal. If we end up going with Cosmote for the TV rights, it'll be the most amount of money for TV rights we've ever gotten. So, but you can't just rely on that. And in the end, there are things I'm willing to recognize, right, with respect to Martins, because Ahira Mazda also brings up a good point here. Also, something needs to be done about the fact that every 3 to 4 years, this team needs a major refactor or overhaul, we can say. That's not viable for a team that is not backed up from Saudi Arabia. And so here's where I'm going to recognize something, because we all, as fans, even though we all agree that this season is garbage, we all have to recognize that COVID fucked up a lot of stuff for us.
Yep. Lots.
And we had a good thing going. We don't know what would have happened if there was no COVID, how Martins would have reacted. What we do know is because of COVID, Martins acted in a very conservative manner. That first weird transfer season after COVID lockdowns, he trusted older veteran players for the third season. That was a choice that he made. Now, because of the hodgepodge of stuff that happened in the third season with us bringing in Rafinha, then not wanting Rafinha, bringing in a couple of we brought in Lala, Oleg. We did maybe some more surgery than we like to do in the winter. Brought in Socrates, Bruma. We then had to come back around in the summer and make other changes. Now, this past summer is where things got really bad because we lost some very good players. And, well, I should say we lost some very good players the previous summer. Losing Tsimikas to Liverpool, then selling Podense previously.
El Abdellaoui gone.
El Abdellaoui. So, we had lost a lot of players and didn't properly replace them.
Yep.
But we still had some quality. We still had players playing for something in the third season. What really screwed us was in the fourth season, we made the wrong bets. We made a lot of really bad bets. Etsy talks about it right here. This season scouting wasn't very good. You can't find a Podense or Tsimikas every season. You'll bump into an Onyekuru every now and then. And this is what happened. I maybe not, I won't say Koundé, but for sure Onyekuru, that was really bad.
Yep.
Koundé, guys, Koundé on, he did start in the fall, if you guys remember, to look pretty good, especially in his substitute appearances. He did get COVID, and we did hear from some sources that are close to the Cameroonian national team that, COVID affected him really badly. He lost a ton of weight. I don't know exactly what his symptoms were, what long COVID wise, but it really affected him in a long-term kind of way. And one of the major issues he had, and everybody here saw it, that was the first comments everybody made after Copa Africa and our first look at Koundé when he was back on the team, he decided to weight train more, in addition to everything else he was doing. So you guys saw his legs were like tree trunks. That first game back for us, they were huge. He looked huge. And we've been told this isn't verified. We haven't verified this information. It's just something we've been told by some people that are close to the national team, that he was too big. He was overweight. You can get bulky and strong, but to a point it slows you down. And he had gotten big to a point where it was slowing him down, and he was required to lose weight before he could see the field more. Whether Koundé's on the chopping block or not, I don't know. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But he did get affected by COVID in a really bad way. And that's something I think that we seem to forget a lot of times, that this is a real thing. Remember how long Hassan was affected by it? Jan and Villa lost a ton of weight. So there is something, bringing it back to the whole reason I brought this up is I just want to recognize, and I want us as fans to recognize, that things took a different turn because of this. And it got worse because of those decisions that were made after the transfer summer, after lockdown, and then again this past summer. Every team's had to deal with this, and that's not necessarily an excuse. But I think that we all probably should recognize that had that not happened, this team could have gone on a completely different trajectory. And I think, I don't think. Martiins is staying, whether we like it or not. And this summer, those choices surely will make or break his career here, whether he even finishes a year.
It is make or break. It is do or die this coming season. And I told you, it could be, I'm telling you, if the qualifiers are a complete shit show, he's gone 100%. If Olympiacos don't make the Champions League, then all right. But if they miss out on the Europa League, that's where it starts. Maybe he won't be sacked if he makes the conference, but eyes are going to be on him, saying, "Okay, you need to show us something. You're in the conference. We can go far there, but you got to show me something." If he misses out on the conference, goodbye, bye, end of story. No questions asked. He's done.
Oh yeah,
and it could happen. It could happen. That team could fuck up at the conference. It could happen.
Yeah. No, I don't think you're wrong, man. I think it could. There's another point here from Kevin Miladas. Guys, I have noticed that they pick players that were really good before 2 to 3 years, and now they are bad, and think that they will be Messi's from when they come. That's what they pay. Look, I am going. We've talked about this before. Costa, you and I have talked about this.
Yeah.
Olympiacos, based on where the league is, based on what our budget is, and how players look at our league, right? We are a team for one of two types of players. This is outside of Greek talent that we foster and we develop in our academies, right? There's two types of players that are going to come to look at us. There are veterans who've maybe had a drop in their career that are looking for a second chance to respark their career. Guys like Tiquinho, guys like Joel Campbell, for those of you that remember him.
Rafinha.
Well, Rafinha also
And
probably
Villa.
toward retirement. Jan Villa is a perfect example.
Valbuena.
Another perfect example, because they didn't really like him towards the end of his time at Fenerbahce either.
No, I'm just talking about players of an advanced age who just, they want to keep. They also want to keep it going. Like Cambiasso as well was a really good example.
Exactly. And then so you have those types of players that tend to be more veteran players, and then you have younger players that are looking for that stepping stone. They're not good enough really to be looked at by top teams. Look at Fadiga, for example. PSG is not going to think twice about him, which is why he came. And they're looking for that stepping stone, that team that can give them the exposure especially on the Champions League level, so that they can get that move to the next team. Yep. Guys like Podense, right? Which was a steal for us. Those are the two types of players that we are most likely to attract outside of Greeks, by the way. I'm saying. And that's what we have to work with. So that's why you see that, because we are hoping that maybe we can revitalize one of those vets' careers. We bring them in, maybe we pay a little bit more money, but they give us something really good and they really contribute to a season. We're probably not going to sell them for much, if anything. I don't know if we've ever actually resold a veteran like that for top dollar, but we hope that they will give them something. And then, on the other side, there's the young guys. Now, those are the ones, hey, 10 or 12 might not pan out, but you get 1 or 2 that do.
No, I think you hit the nail right in the head there. That's the two types of players Olympiacos bring.
Yep. And then going to bring Costa. Made it before the end. Costa, how you doing, buddy? Costa with a C.
Oh, there he is.
I'm late,
I'm sorry, I was at the cinema, but yeah, I thought I'd check in. How's it going, guys?
Doing very well. Costa.
It's all going great, and I think we need to thank Eleftherios Martiins here.
We do. We got a nice comment here from Eleftherios Martiins. Eleftherios, thank you so much, man. Everything that you guys do, everything you guys donate does help us to help build the product up and give you something better. And he says, even if we bring a new coach, we will not win the league next year, but we are Olympiacos and we can build a new team.
Yeah, well, I don't know about not winning the league, but I get what you're saying. Eleftherios, thank you so much for the comment. Thank you so much for the donation, pal.
Costa with a C, that is. Give us real quick, because we're coming up on that time for man of the match. Coach is great. Give us a bit of your synopsis on what you saw from the game today.
It was an entertaining game, I thought. Looking at all the 6 teams that are in the playoffs, those opponents that we end up playing, they don't park the bus, so they're going to come at us. They're going to play open, and I thought what we saw in the end was quite an open game. I mean, the scoreline says it all, really. 3-2, 5 goals, high drama, late winner, 98th minute. So, from a neutral perspective, I think it was a decent game to watch. Yeah. I think Carvalho was good to watch. He tried to create up top. I thought, again, in the middle, we've talked about this time and time again, just a bit too slow, man. And Bukalag is getting dispossessed far too easily. Some really dangerous transitions as a result. I thought Gary Rodriguez had a decent game, nice goal. Yeah, man, what can I say? I mean, I think the title of the episode kind of says it all. And we talked about this before you guys went live. Rony Lopes, out of nowhere. Where's he been? I'm sure you guys have talked about it already. But yeah, there was just so many questions. Like, why was he just dumped after Christmas?
But surely there's...
sorry, Costa. We talk about players like Lopes, Koundé, as being players that, the last few days reading the press, they're the first ones to go, apparently, at the end of the summer. Then why is he playing them? And today, Rony Lopes saved his ass. He saved our ass. I think Balk drew today, did they, in the end?
They do, yes. And if Olympiacos don't lose at Tuba, then they clinch the title.
So the thing is, right, if we'd have drawn, Balk would have gone into their game with a very different mentality. It's like, okay, they drew. Now we need to win. We have them here in Thessaloniki on Wednesday. I think it's a different proposition. But Lopez's goals changed everything. That's a goal that we're going to remember for a very long time. Like, that goal's clinched the title. It was a cracker. It was a fantastic finish. And just before that as well, Lediggins made an incredible save. That ball's going into the top corner again from Lopes, cutting in from the right hand side. So where's that been? And all of the, some people will say, oh, he played 5-10 minutes in Atalanta, but that was after not playing for a month and a half. He wasn't in any match day squads in the Greek league, but then Martins put him in the Europa League squad.
Yep.
So there's no sense. And I think you guys talked about the Cisse stuff as well.
Yes,
so
briefly.
Martins giving Cisse an earful in training, but I'm sorry, but he's giving Cisse an earful. Oh, but what?
Oh yeah.
There are some other players in that team that deserve, a bit of a talking to. But Cisse, one of our best players. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Again, it just goes back to all this talk about him losing the plot.
Yeah.
Dressing room gone.
Yeah. You're right, man. And yeah, we touched on the Rony Lopes stuff. The same thing. I had some of the same questions about that. But yeah, look.
But surely that doesn't warrant a contract for Rony Lopes. I mean, if anything, I was having a look at Youssef El Arabi's number, and in his last six league matches, he has registered 3 assists, 3 goals.
Yep.
So that guy creates 1 goal per match. I don't think he deserves more money, and if he does, then it's going to be a very small raised, but at least, El Arabi does actually make a case, especially, and he is Olympiacos' top scorer in the league again. So, I mean, if El Arabi doesn't deserve a contract the way he wants it, surely Lopes does not. Definitely does not.
It's forget even the contract. We're not paying the buyout fee, and I can't see Sevilla lowering it to a fee that we would afford.
No,
so it's never happening. Now, guys, go ahead, Costa.
Would you stay if you're Rony Lopes? If
No,
they find some kind of way, say, oh, please stay, it's like same manager. It's like,
no, I wouldn't.
Are you kidding me?
If I were Rony Lopes, especially the way I was just treated, and you know what I mean? No way. Especially I'm just getting into stride. You know what I mean? I'd be thankful for what was done by Hernani Gomez to help me cut weight and get back into football shape. I'd be thankful for that. But then I'm getting into stride and basically told, oh, I don't know if we're going to do your buyout, and I'm icing you out of the team. Hell no.
But you remember, there were press articles from Kotsis, oh, there's an agreement for a 5-year contract or something, and they're going to find a way to keep him. Do you remember that? That was the discussion around Christmas, after the Offie performance away from home where he got the winner, and he was looking like our best option on the wing. Then he got COVID over Christmas, and then he played that game against Panathinaikos.
Yep.
In Leoforos, and then he disappeared.
Exactly.
Disappeared.
Exactly. Yep. But like I said, real quick before we move on to the man of the match coach's grade, I just want to touch briefly on this because we did get some people that added us on socials about it. And that was some of the referee decisions today. Most namely was the decision for the referee to allow. We had 6 minutes of added time, but as you guys know, Rony Lopes scored right in the 98th minute, 2 minutes beyond the stoppage that was given. Now, Costa, I know you and I talked about this. Costa with a C, that is. You and I talked about this in our chat together. I don't really think it was a egregious decision one way or another because I've seen refs do the same thing. When Perea fouled Madi on one of the previous possessions a couple minutes prior, he was rolling around on the ground for 3 minutes. And I've seen in games plenty of referees. I know technically they don't have to add any time, but I'm pretty sure it's subjective. The ref is the one that controls whether to give that time or not. I've seen refs give it when players are wasting time and added time. I've seen refs not give it. So for me, it's just one of those things. This ref decided to give it, but Perea was wasting time. It was 3 minutes he was on the ground. I timed it myself. That's it for me. There's nothing corrupt about it. It is what it is. Perea shouldn't have been rolling around on the ground when he was the one that made the foul. That's on him.
Stoppage time for stoppage time.
Exactly. That's how I looked at it. I don't know if you have a separate opinion about it.
No, not really. Anybody that wants to cry about it can go and cry about it.
Yeah.
It's football.
That is what it is.
Interestingly,
it's the rule.
The same people that are crying about it are the ones that seem to be okay with their team getting 30% more penalties than any other team in the league. So whatever, we'll take that with a grain of salt. And if we want to talk about referee decisions, how about the handball that wasn't given? How about the El Arabi, the Bukalaki's gorgeous through ball that was played through to him, only for him to be just knocked over and not be able to even contest for the through ball? Anything about that? No, I'm not going to sit here and complain about referee decisions like that because there were plenty that should have gone our way too. So I'm sorry.
I don't like to talk about referee errors, if I'm being honest, especially when it comes to the Greek league and especially when it comes to Olympiacos. Olympiacos are the kind of team that shouldn't give a crap about the referees. You should go out there and even beat the referees at times, especially in Greece.
Exactly. So we'll put a pin in that, and we're just going to move it to man of the match and coach's grade. So go start with a C. Do you want to get us started here?
Yeah.
If not, I do. Yeah, there you go.
Easy. Rony Lopes is the man of the match.
I had a feeling.
Easy. Shout out to Carvalho. I thought he had it's a breath of fresh air. He's not very, how to say, he looks a bit late.
Yeah.
He looks a bit lazy at times,
Yeah.
You think, is he in the game? Does he care? But it's just those there were moments in the game, he did it a few times where he just kind of let the ball run through his legs and he'd know where the other player was. It's just like he's got that high IQ, like that ability to see things happen before anybody else. Or that outside of the foot pass that he played down the left-hand side that he sliced and it just, it went forward and then it kind of stopped on a plate for the winger
One
to take it forward.
first time too. Like I don't think people realize how hard that is to do. That's why it looks so beautiful.
Technique. Just like I was reading some comments on Twitter and like one guy that I follow was saying, "Oh, Carvalho is such a good player. He'd be a perfect kind of backup number 10." I was thinking about that a little bit. I was just like, yeah, I kind of see what he means, but I also think he can be so much better if he wants to.
Yeah.
But that's like, does he want to? Does he want to put in that extra work? That's my doubt about Carvalho. But I wanted to give him a shout out because we just look a bit more threatening. It's like we had possession, like we created chances. But yeah, Lopes at the end of the day, man, I thought it really was a terrific goal as well. First time on the volley, top corner, like the importance of it as well. So that one's easy. Coach's grades. Why is Oleg playing? Where's the new Tsimikas? Let's not talk about that. Usain Ubar hasn't played for 2 months. Oh, let's drop Cisse so we can make an example of him. But some of the personnel selection just bores me, man. Like we've talked about it so many times. You look at Surlis and Pinakas. Surlis scored 2 goals today for the B team. Pinakas got another one. So, okay, I don't expect him to make these kinds of decisions that I or we want to see. I'm sorry, man. I'm kind of done with Martins. I really think he has just lost the dressing room. But for what it's worth today, I don't know, man. Like B-, C, I want to give him. So he did that thing again at the end where he just threw on like 3 attacking options. Like, okay, whatever happens. But none of them were involved in the end. Who got the flick on? Who got the flick on for Lopez's goal? Was it Socrates? Who was that?
No. It was oh my god, because
I think it was.
oh no, I think actually you are right.
Yeah, I think it was.
But it
For a
was a
second-
Valbuena free kick, was it? It was a ball from Valbuena and Socrates flicked it on, it went over all the defense and then he like kind of volleyed. Yeah, I need to see it again.
I remember the delivery came Valbuena, but I thought it was like during play. I don't remember it being from a set piece situation. But I do remember there was like a deflection, and that's why it looked like it was El Arabi like going in to try and get the ball, and then I think the defender like between one of those two, something happened and it went out to Rony Lopes, and that's when he took the rocket. But yes,
So C, I give him a C.
Gosa, you want to go next?
Yeah, Rony Lopes, man of the match, like difference maker, scored that important goal. That's what Olympiacos needed in the match. As for manager's grade, I'm going with a B- only because Olympiacos didn't lose, or else it would have been a solid C+ at least, C-. No, C or C+. Probably a C+, but a low C+. But I gotta say this, guys. I said it before. I'm gonna say this again. This team does not convince me like it can get a result out of anyone from these playoffs. I see all the teams, and I can see all of them having a chance against Olympiacos. And make no mistake about it. Yes, Olympiacos only need 1 more point to seal the title, really, in the next game. But PAOK are going to play their butts off. PAOK want to ruin that party. PAOK want to destroy that party. They're going to play. That's a final for them. There's nothing for them to win except for ruining Olympiacos' party, and they love it. This is going to be hard. They're going to go hard at Olympiacos. So, and I'm not seeing any passion from the current players, except for Papastathopoulos in the Greek Cup, the last game. So unless the team is motivated, show some passion, show some motivation, PAOK are going to go hard at Olympiacos next game, really hard.
Yeah. No, you're right. And Gosa, I'm pretty much going to echo yours too. Rony Lopes getting the getting the goal like that in dramatic fashion, the game winner to break the deadlock. I think it has to be him for man of the match. I do want to give a shout out to Gary Rodriguez, because Gary, that right-hand side of our field, I brought it up earlier, was doing so much. For me, they looked better than our left side of the field for pretty much the entire match, between Vrusai and Gary getting forward pretty well, playing some great crosses in. I mean, between Gary and Vrusai, just themselves in the first half, they both had great crosses to Youssef El Arabi for goal-scoring opportunities. The one from Vrusai early on, actually El Arabi got a piece of it, and it was blocked by the Giannina defender. And then Gary Rodriguez had one that El Arabi kind of like put his foot out but couldn't get to. They both did well. They both created a lot of opportunities. If I'm not mistaken, I thought I didn't see any credit for Youssef El Arabi's goal, but I thought Gary Rodriguez gave the delivery that led to that goal. I could be wrong. I have to look back into that on the replay, but I could have sworn that Gary Rodriguez was involved in that. Gary Rodriguez could have had a second goal if El Arabi was onside for the initial ball through. That was unfortunate. We could have had 3 goals at that point, but anyway, so man of the match still goes to Rony Lopes. Shout out to Carvalho as well. I mean, he did some just absurd things today. He did disappear at times, and I wish if like he was a 90-minute guy, he would be world class. I believe that would be the case. And Martins, yeah, he gets the win, so I can't give him lower than a B-. But yeah, it just I didn't like a lot of the changes. I was okay with the Bukailakis change, because his yellow was dumb, pushing the guy in front of the ref. I thought that was just stupid, but whatever. I didn't like the change. I thought Fortuny should have been coming off. That's just coming on. That's just my opinion. So the triple change, of course, at the 83rd minute, I hate that. And whatever, but that's B- for Martins. Guys, drop your coaches' grades and your man of the match in there. I see one from Lakis Gavalas already. Socrates, as much as it pains me to admit it, for man of the match, and C- for Martins. Socrates actually had quite a few times where he cut the ball out. So, he's been for a defender that a lot of people are calling finished. He seems to be still live and kicking, and quite strong part of our defense.
Still not as good as Zavelas, though.
Ooh, don't get me started, man. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Yeah, look, guys, it's hour and 12 minutes. We've been going for a long time. If you haven't done so already, guys, hit that button at the bottom of your screen. Subscribe. There's a little bell there if you want to be notified anytime that we go live. We do bring fans on pretty frequently. It's at least a couple times a month. We do shows where we have fans come on and talk. A lot of you have done it. Some of you are a little shy, and I haven't seen you on here yet. So hopefully some of you guys work up the courage to talk with us. We'd love to hear from you live on the show, not just in the comments section. But seriously, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Thank you again to Eleftherios Machinis. Thank you so much for the donation. The more we get, the more we will put back into the show to try and make this a better spectacle, doing more things for you. Like we said, we have the big interview coming up, Luciano. That's going to be Costa 22:30 Greek time. That's going to be Costa running that with Labro. So it's going to be a really good time. It'll be in Greek. Again, we are going to get that translated after the fact with subtitles. So you will have that. So, but for the rest of you, Greek speaking or at least understanding Greek, we hope you enjoy that. We love these legend interviews. Some great insight too that we're expecting from Luciano, guy that's played for a couple of different teams in Greece, done some magical things. Costa, do you have anything else you want to say about that?
I'm really looking forward to that one. Luciano, he's one of those players that during his time, he was kind of unlucky that he was surrounded by some really top players that people didn't. I think people undervalued him or underappreciated him. I think he was a fantastic player. I think in the end he left because Rivaldo came.
No, that was Carebe.
I'll ask him that tomorrow.
Rivaldo came in 2004. Luciano left in 2001.
Okay, I need to check that out. But he's also, I mean, Ari, you kind of mentioned it. He's played for a lot of clubs in Greece. He's played
Yeah.
almost 20-year career, I want to say, because I think he moved to Greece when he was 17 or 18.
Yeah.
With Xanthi on loan to Kastoria. He played for PAOK.
He played for PAOK, yeah.
After us, right? He went to PAOK after.
Yeah. And then I think he went back to Xanthi after. But okay, here's one of the interesting things, and he was Lucescu's assistant at Xanthi before Lucescu went to PAOK. So that's something I'm looking forward to getting his insights on Lucescu.
There you go, guys. Sneak peek at some of the juicy content tomorrow. I love it.
Send your questions. Anyone following now, hit us up on Instagram, send a DM, send us your questions, stuff you'd like to ask him. I'll make sure we do that. But yeah, very much looking forward to that. And don't know if you mentioned this already. So we got Monday tomorrow, Luciano, and Tuesday, basketball. Big game on Wednesday. So we're going to have some experts come talk to us as well on Tuesday and kind of preview that game. Those of you that are basketball fans, you know Manolo77 on Twitter and Red Emerald, those guys from the Red Point Guard show. I'm going to have them on Tuesday for a chat about Game 5, the last game. A ticket to the Final Four is up for grabs at CEF, Peace and Friendship Stadium. So, Gate 7 International, keep him busy.
Always staying busy. Andrea, keep Tuesday, buddy. Tuesday, they're going to be talking with Red Point Guard about EuroLeague. So check in on that, man. Hit that notification button so that way you can see when the live's happening and you can check it out. Didn't they say that for the game for Monaco, they sold out tickets in less than an hour? For Game 5?
I know that I wouldn't be surprised.
I thought I saw somebody say that.
Kevin Durant in the building.
To see his, I hope he's there to see his buddy.
See his buddy lose. Yeah,
that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm putting for Sam. Now, Costa and I were also saying, I think we got to bring back the old annoying guest questions. This one was too easy. Everyone got it the first time. We got to start with Greek or, is he Greek or non-Greek? One of those. Get everybody upset with us again.
That photo is legendary of Luciano. That photo is very legendary.
It is. Costa, okay. Do you got anything left before we close everything up here?
No, guys. No. I'm looking forward to Luciano, and I'm looking forward to see if there's going to be a reaction against PAOK, but there won't.
I have a question.
Go for it.
So, do you think he's going to go 4-3-3 again, or maybe 3 at the back on Wednesday? Because he's not good. He's not going to play a 10, is he? He's just going to revert back to this horrible conservative formation where we play 28% possession during the game. So I'm mentally preparing myself for that.
He'll want to seal the title. He'll be thinking I want the title, so people can stop being on my ass. So yeah.
Are we away or are we home?
Away.
We're away.
2 games.
Oh.
2 games back to back in Thessaloniki.
Then, my friend, it's gonna be 4-3-3. It might be 3-4-3. It's gonna be. We're gonna turtle up. That's how it's gonna be. That's how I see it. Look, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for listening, especially if you made it this far. A lot of stuff coming up this week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. 3 days of Gate 7 International. It's like the 12 days of Christmas. Maybe we'll do that one day. Get 12 days straight of Gate 7 International. That'd be fun. But you got 3 days of us this week. This is day 1 ending. Day 2 and day 3 coming up. Interview and basketball. Hope you guys can join us. Join that conversation. Everybody, hope you have a great rest of your Sunday. For those of you in Greece that are getting ready to pass out. For Australians tuning in, I know it's Monday morning. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. And until next time, this is Gate 7 International.